Hello everybody and welcome back for another VR rundown. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your one channel for everything VR related. Today, we're checking out the single-player, physics-based medieval fantasy sandbox fighting game Blade and Sorcery Nomad. Blade and Sorcery has been available to PCVR users in early access for nearly 3 years now, and it's finally made its way onto the Oculus Quest 2. I like to front load these videos with my opinion right out of the gate, and Quest owners are going to love this game. It's a bit jankier and definitely not as pretty as its PCVR counterpart, but it still packs that ridiculously fun combat that's incredible for making viral videos. Please keep in mind that this is not a full release, and this title is still very much in development. So from here, let's continue the video with my standard review format, which breaks everything down based on different topics, and finishes up with some narrated gameplay. So first up is the summary. Blade and Sorcery Nomad is now available on the Meta Quest for $19.99, and it allows you to engage in exciting physics-driven melee, ranged, or magical combat. There's a wide array of medieval weaponry, from swords, shields, bows, axes, and even a few exotic items. Spells allow you to conjure fire, lightning, and even manipulate gravity and time. The Nomad version is optimized specifically for the Quest 2, and its ongoing development goal is to keep it as close as possible to the PCVR version. That PCVR version is currently one of the highest ranked VR games on Steam, and it's inspired countless mods and viral videos. While the Quest version isn't up to the same caliber, it definitely captures the same essence. I didn't even think such CPU-intensive physics would be possible on the Quest, but it looks like I was wrong. It's not a perfect clone of the PCVR version, but it's a great substitute for those who don't have a PC. So I guess it's the perfect time to compare both versions. The most striking difference is obviously the graphics. I know it's not fair to compare a $300 mobile device up against a PC that might cost multiple times that, but there is a huge difference in texture quality, resolution, and particle effects. The new semi-procedural dungeon is stunning on a high-end PC. Meanwhile, on the Quest, the already low texture quality drops off quickly at just a few feet out. There's a serious case of jaggies on edges, and everything has a much more cartoony look. Now we can argue this is all superficial and doesn't impact the overall experience, as I find the PCVR version much more immersive, and not only does it look better, but it does seem to handle the physics better and perform better. Now the fun level on the other hand is very subjective, but most Quest gamers who don't have access to a PC are going to love this game just as much as that PC version. So the next question is, do I recommend you buy it? Blade and Sorcery is still very much in development. Keep in mind it's a sandbox fighting game. Currently, you're meant to jump in, fool around, and have a good time. If you're looking for a fantasy RPG, this isn't it. At least not yet. The dungeon update does bring it closer, but it's still far off. So with that in mind, if you are looking for an arena fighting sandbox title, Blade and Sorcery Nomad is the best of what the Quest has to offer. Nearly every 20 seconds, something really cool happens in-game, and the title just never seems to get old. It's an easy recommendation to most people, and with development continuing over time, you'll definitely get your money's worth on this title. So here's the verdict. Blade and Sorcery Nomad is an extremely fun, physics-driven melee combat title. Quest owners will have a blast playing this game, but if you have a mid to high-end PC, I still recommend the PCVR version. The pros include excellent combat that's always fun and exciting, unmatched physics on the Oculus Quest, and there are new modes in development. On the con side, this is not a great-looking game. It does suffer from some performance issues, and it is lagging a bit behind the PCVR version. Okay, so that was the verdict, but stick around for some narrated gameplay, where I'll show off the differences between the two titles, and most likely answer a few more questions you may have. Let's start things off with the in-game mirror, which is the best example of the difference in graphical quality. One thing to mention here is the PCVR version allows you to use full body tracking. It's fun throwing some real-life kicks, but it's a bit gimmicky and doesn't change the overall game experience. Now here I'm pointing out how the texture quality drops off. It's really noticeable in-game, but I'm not sure how it's going to translate for the video. You could also see a lot of jaggies or rough edges in the distance. Generally, this is something resolved by anti-aliasing, but the Quest doesn't have the extra power to pull that off. For the most part though, combat feels extremely similar. I did notice that the Quest tracking was lagging a bit behind occasionally, which led to a few odd sensations. Plus there were some occasional performance stutters, which did impact my combat, but again this is a beta title so I'm going to give it a pass. Let's jump back and forth with a little murder montage so you guys can see how fun the game actually is. And this map shows the available levels. Some have a survival mode where you grab a weapon and need to battle waves of enemies. Others are just sandbox mode where you can spawn in any item you like. And finally, there's the new dungeon mode, which has enemies patrolling that you could sneak up on. It's still very much a sandbox experience though, and the objective is just make it to the end. Okay, everybody, that was today's VR rundown. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And as always, I will see you guys on next time.